Yeah, we don't want nobody telling us what to do. We don't want nobody pushing us around.
I apologize. But tell me, just what is it that you want to do?
Well, we want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do. We want to be free to ride. We want to be free to ride our machines without being hassled by the man. And we want to get loaded. And we want to have a good time. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have a party.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Okay.
So you're all charged up, huh, on Mountain Dew?
Yep. Coming at people like a spider monkey.
Like a spider monkey. They take your prison shiv?
No. I'm still wearing my pee pants, as it were.
Fucking A, man. I tell you what, it's actually a nice day down here today.
It's relatively nice up here. It's 45.
Well, I mean, I was riding in a t-shirt. I got off the bike. I still got the fucking thing on my head, but I mean, our weather down here lately, it's fucking been going from 80 to 40 like it saw a state trooper, for fuck's sake. I mean, it's been crazy. Not very non-Florida like, you know? Very non-Florida like. But more gators than ever this year. They were talking about that. Record gators out. So
record gators.
Record gators.
Wow.
There's a lake down here that has like 1,200 gators in it.
Now, is this gator sightings or gator attacks?
Gator sightings.
Gotcha. So there's somebody keeping track of how many times people see a gator.
Well, you know, they're like a national, a state treasure. You know, they keep track of those numbers. The DNR guys go around and count them, and you know, you really can't fuck with them without getting a felony.
I hear the pythons are a big deal down there.
Pythons in the Everglades are all over the place. Like, there's that guy, Fishing Garrett, that's what he's called, and he's a guy who goes barefoot at night with a camera into the Everglades and, like, you know, boops the spiders and grabs pythons and gets bit by snakes and shit. You seen him?
No, but I have a feeling that there's going to be a YouTube story how he tragically died getting fucking killed by a python, because it's like that Steve Irwin guy.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's like he got killed by a stingray. What were you doing, fucking with stingrays? Well, you know, dude.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to happen?
Right. Fuck around, find out. There's this kid called Chandler. He's in Fort Pierce. And he's pretty well known. You've probably seen him on the social media shit. Got the king cobra, 2 king cobras that are his pets.
Yeah.
One of them's like 15 feet long. Well, this idiot goes over to India and he's doing his little, you know, TikTok or Facebook show or whatever it is. And he's like handling a wild cobra and then gets bit. It was awesome.
It probably didn't go well for him, I'd imagine.
No, he lost part of the finger. Of course he exploited it to no end. Because why wouldn't you?
Well, I'll be honest with you. If I got bit by a king cobra, like the first thing I would do is be like, oh shit, I need medical attention.
He got medical attention. That was like part of his whole show and shit. It was
gotcha.
It was pretty wild. But yeah, Chandler's Wildlife. He's in Fort Pierce. You know, I'd like to go over and see his shit, but it costs way too much money to go into his compound and check it all out.
What the fuck is going on in Florida with these fucking people? Quit fucking around with things that'll kill you.
Well, I mean, have you ever noticed that like the Welcome to Florida signs look like the same entrance as to Jurassic Park?
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, it's similar, you know.
And considering the fact the type of women I've been with in my life, me saying don't fuck with shit that might kill you, it seems kind of fucking moronic. You know?
I wasn't going to go to the obvious area there, brother, but we've had conversation off camera before. So,
well, you know, I mean, everybody's got a type, you know.
And yours is fucking crazy.
They get me.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, you know, you're with a good one now, so that's all.
That's true. That's true.
So 2024, this is election year, as you know.
Well, the thing of it is, and the reason why we bring this video up is that, what was it, 2020? we had a joke that you were going to run for president in 2024.
Because we felt that a biker would be able to fix all this shit.
Right. Because in 2020, people, they still kind of remember, but let's be honest, most people's memories, you know what I mean? There's a million things going on. It was pretty crazy in 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, we did a whole show on it, actually. Actually, it was 2019, I think, wasn't it? No, it was 2020.
It was 2020. We did the pandemic episode, or we did
Right.
the Mad Max, like post-apocalypse.
Post-apocalypse. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was,
for the
2020. It was about a year ago, actually, because my dad had just died.
Mm-hmm.
And I was up there for the funeral.
Well, it was a little after a year because COVID really hit like what? March. Oh shit, it was actually St. Patty's Day is when they shut down the bars in Wisconsin.
Well, I think my dad was actually died of COVID before it was the thing, because he was on he had he went in for heart surgery, and then he had like a heart attack on his way out of the hospital, and then they found out that something was wrong, and then he got an infection in his lungs when he was in the hospital, and then he ended up on the breathers.
Yeah.
And then he had some sort of a weird pneumonia, and like the doctors were working on it, and they just couldn't figure out what this weird pneumonia was.
That's
And
very possible.
And then he died in the ventilator, and then a month later, COVID was a thing, and here we are now. Should we even say COVID on the? Are we going to get banned because we're saying the CVID word?
I don't fucking care. By the way, let me do a little quick housekeeping. People have asked me what the fuck happened to this. So we have a bunch of episodes on YouTube that aren't on, say, Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google, whatever the fuck, right? Here's why. So we used to, when you do a podcast and you want to upload to these type of platforms, you need, what is it, an RSS feed?
RSS feed, that's right.
Okay. Now you need a host to do this.
Or hosts, yeah.
Yeah, there's a multitude of them, but Anchor was the one that we had chosen. Well, Anchor got bought by Spotify. And now it's no longer Anchor, it's just Spotify. So everything that we upload, I think only goes to Spotify.
But we do have a master link to all our areas, though.
That we do.
We do. It's on Linktree.
But all further episodes will only be on Spotify.
Cool.
And
or you can just go on YouTube and listen to them out of there either. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. Fuck, go to YouTube. I don't give a shit where or don't. I mean, I don't know why you're listening to it now, but whatever. Right. We appreciate you. Man,
this is just our this is just our equivalent of a phone call with a video, basically.
Pretty much.
We talk.
But I mean, it's like
all the time. So
when people ask me, they're like, "Well, what happened?" Well, you got to understand that Spotify is really taking a lot of steps to become the podcast platform.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, you know what? I don't care enough to like try to. What is there? What is that other RSS deal that we were looking at? Start with an L, Linson, something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. But that, they charge you every episode, and we don't do this shit for money, so why spend too much? We already spend X amount of dollars to do Zoom, because this is how we're doing this right now, and how we talk to interesting people all around the world, like old Brocky boy that's doing push-ups in the fucking Everglades, or the Columbia, wherever the fuck he's at.
Kidding me? Before we got on the air with him, if you remember, we're talking to him about 60 seconds, and some hot Latin American chick pops up on the floor.
Maybe they were doing Pilates or yoga. I don't know what she was doing.
You know what they were doing.
Oh yeah. One's got to do what one's got to do, I guess. I don't know.
Shout out to Brock.
I mean,
anyway,
he's doing his thing in Nicaragua, or wherever the fuck.
So yeah, I mean, we pay a little bit of money to do this. We don't take anything in, but we've had some free shit sent to us over the years.
Yeah, people have sent us cool shit, and kind of surprised on how many local people listen to us, which is, why would you? But hey, thanks.
And you know, it'd be nice if the Purell people would get back in touch with is and what the fuck's up with Fleshlight? Like
Fleshlight, the KY people. I mean,
yeah.
I feel that most of our target audience, my mom excluded, is their customer base.
I think
Truck
you're right.
drivers, lonely bikers.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the people that would really enjoy their products. So I don't know why they're not reaching out. But anyways, if you want to know why we had all this problem, and then Spotify kind of fucked with us because they're trying okay. So there are millions of podcasts that are uploaded to the internet. Millions. And they're trying to weed out the ones that are 5 episodes and then they just disband because they weren't Joe Rogan the next day.
They found out it was hard.
Right. And they were kind of fucking with us, but then they realized that we're on episode, what is this, 143?
Yeah, 143, yeah.
Yeah. So we're just too dumb to quit. So they're like, yeah, fine. If you guys keep wanting to do this, I guess. So now, you know, you'll see more on Spotify.
All right. Good deal.
So there you go. There's why. It's one of those gigs. And why don't we do as many episodes? Well, because I mean, this isn't our only thing we've got going on, and we're not exactly trying to make a brand per se. I mean, we kind of wanted to, but at the same time, life comes up.
If you remember, we were going down that path, and we had a lot of people nudging us to do it. And what we didn't like was that some of those, not all of them, but some of them were using us for their financial benefit.
Well, here's what you have to understand. And this actually goes into the topic of Tank for 2024, you could do worse. Is that a lot of what's talked about when it comes to politics these days is narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mainstream media, legacy media, however you want to describe it, they have what some call a narrative. It doesn't fit the narrative. It goes with the narrative. Everything's a narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Same goes for this shit. This biker, motorcycle club, whatever content. There's a narrative.
Mm-hmm. And we were actually at the helm of that for a little bit, in the respect of we were kind of guiding the topics of some of the content that was being created out there. Well,
the thing of it is that in order to make money off of this, which
we didn't know we were guiding it.
And I don't take anything away from them.
Right, we were just being original, you know.
Right. I mean, if they want to make money off YouTube or whatever, hey, more power to them. Right?
Roku TV,
whatever.
Yeah.
But they want to make their money doing what we're doing right now. Hey, great. If it works out for them, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you. The problem is that you now have to come up with consistent content. Like what, 5 times a week?
At the very least. That's probably the bare minimum, because a lot of these content creators, platforms like TikTok, I think really, really accentuate this, where they're creating content 2 or 3 times a day.
Right.
Just to stay relevant.
Right. And then you got your YouTube reels, you got your or not YouTube reels, your Instagram reels, your YouTube shorts. Then there's a Facebook deal, which is kind of a dying platform. But if you're a boomer, I guess you still use it, but it's kind of slowly going out of favor with the younger crowd. Your 30 younger crowd aren't really using Facebook. They're using Instagram, TikTok. Who knows what the next thing's going to be?
Right.
I mean, a lot of people are talking about TikTok Live, but I'm not even on TikTok. I don't even want to fuck with it.
Well, the lack of the privacy intrusion is intrusion on your privacy is too much.
Well, that, and you know, Joe Rogan was famous for showing what the terms of service. I mean, they're digging into everything. They have access. If you have TikTok on your phone, they have access to your laptop because your phone communicates with your laptop sometimes, whether you know it or not. It does. Snowden talked about it. I mean, it's my phone is putting out a signal. My computer's looking for a signal with Wi-Fi. They're talking to each other right now, like, hey, should we hook up? And the computer might be like, oh, no, we're not going to hook up. But guess what? Somebody could make them hook up.
Yeah. If you're at a stoplight with your phone on, you got convenience stores and shit around you, gas stations and whatnot. Take a minute, click on and see what Wi-Fi is available in that area, because I can guarantee you they're all calling out to your phone.
It's not even just businesses; it's private residences.
It's everything.
Every cell tower, everything that emits or takes in a signal is talking to one another all the time, and you don't even know it. It's just doing it. That's why if you want to run from the cops, first thing you do is throw your phone out the fucking window.
That would be a good advice, yeah.
But then if you're driving a car that's been made in the past fucking 10 years, chances are they could track you by that.
Yep.
Because all they have to do is turn it on. Because your car's putting out a signal. That Apple Play in your brand new Ford truck, guess what it's doing? It's broadcasting what you're doing and where you're at.
That's
every second of the day.
Yeah, because they want to know what stores do they go into, what are their habits, because then we can get our advertising that we can sell somebody your information and gear it on your feed towards what you and do in your life,
Oh, is that guy driving by a McDonald's? Well, let's throw a McDonald's ad into his in the middle of whatever song he's listening to, because you never know, he might feel the need for a Big Mac.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I looked up a part for my motorcycle. I was going to put a sissy bar on the bike. And now all damn day long in every news feed, there's an advertisement for a sissy bar. And I looked up one ad on Google.
2 days ago, I looked into how much it would cost to ship lobster from Massachusetts up to Wisconsin. So this summer we could do a clam boil, right? Do lobster. What do you think my feed has been full of for 24 hours? Seafood, lobster, get it from here, buy this gourmet lobster, do this. It's crazy. But let's tie it all together now.
So here we are, take 2024 and how crazy the world fucking is right now.
I'm all about simplifying it.
And I know you had mentioned that you wanted to do something where it was, okay, it's kind of a joke, but not really. Because I guess what I see this as is, let's prove that the average dude that rides a fucking bike, like for the main source of their transportation, let's be honest, right? You can't say not a biker, 100% a biker by every definition of the fucking word. Could they run the country better than the people that are running the country and want to run the country right now? So let's find out.
It's a good question.
Because let's be honest, if you're listening to me right now, chances are you listen to other podcasts, right? And I guarantee you some of them are talking about current events, social problems, whatever, politics, culture, whatever.
Pick your poison, yeah.
Pick your poison. It's probably not all just fucking douchebags talking about MC shit or biker shit or whatever. It's probably your Joe Rogans or your, you name it, Jordan Petersons or whatever truck drivers listens to.
You would hope so, but I'm, gotta understand there's still people out there that believe the news.
Right. And they probably, they probably take in enough, I don't know, legacy media type news, your Fox News, your MSNBCs, your CNNs, your local newses on your local channel. They take in enough of it to get or some sort of a Google feed news.
At least to
You
get a
know?
snapshot of what the lamestream media is doing.
Right. So let's have right now, I'll hit you with topics and I want your opinion on them. And let's see where they line up with, say, a presidential candidate that somebody's even hearing about, whether it's a Biden or a Trump, Nikki Haley, the Robert Kennedy Jr., fucking the raspy voice guy.
I
That
can't
guy.
listen to that dude, man. That voice makes me crazy. Okay,
It is a wacky voice. I'll be honest with you. He would probably be a really good presidential candidate if he didn't sound like he was going to die.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. All right, hit me.
You're
Let me hear
it. You know, that type of shit. How I sounded last year. But
yeah, right.
the guy's smart.
No doubt.
You know, and a guy like Vivek is smart.
Oh, I mean, very much so. Yeah.
These guys aren't dummies. Trump is smart.
I remember
Can't say that Biden is.
You know, real quick on that subject, right?
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
years ago, we're down here. We were vacation in Florida. Meet up with my sister-in-law. My niece is there. She's fresh out of college, and she's talking about Bush. Bush was in office at this point in time, and she's like, Uncle
One or
Chris.
two?
Oh, two.
Okay.
And she said, Uncle Chris. She said, he can't even read. And I was like, hold up right there. Hold it up right there. I'm like, you understand this man, like, was a pilot. Like, they let him take fighter jets, $1 million fighter jets up in the sky. I'm pretty sure they don't let illiterates do that.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the mentality we're trying to deal with, because we put a lot, we hyperbolize a lot about their lack of intelligence. Biden's making it really, really difficult not to hyperbolize. It's sort of reality with this motherfucker. But
well, and I don't want to talk on it too much, but let's put it to you like this. The job of a president, this kind of leads into the beginning of me talking about why you would somewhat make sense if you were given, say, the same backing and platform as any other candidate.
Right.
The president of the United States ultimately is a leader of the free world.
That's the premise.
Correct.
Yes.
What I mean by the free world, let's be honest, when it comes to the United States of America, we run the free world. Right. England don't do shit without us saying, yeah, let's do it. You know, England ain't gonna fucking back any fucking other country without us going, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do this. Neither is France. You know what? Time out. I forgot to unplug the goddamn cooler.
I can't hear it, but it'll show up on the recording.
That's right.
We've had that happen before.
So, with that being said, as I get my Robert Kennedy on here, is that you have to be a leader. I'm 45, so the first president I remember is Ronald Reagan. Don't have really any hardcore opinion on what he was doing because, well, I was an adolescent when he was president. He was president, what, 80?
Yep.
80 to 88. I was two.
Yeah.
To 10.
2 to 10. Yeah. You could have given a fuck. You didn't know.
Politics weren't on my radar back then.
Yeah. No shit.
Then you got George
Bush.
What was his
Herbert Walker.
So George H. Bush.
H.W. Bush.
Okay. You got him.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the only thing I remember is that Dana Carvey used to do that thing, no new taxes. You know, he used to do that whole thing.
Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
Yeah, not gonna do it. And then he puked on what, like a Japanese prime minister or something like that.
Oh yeah, he sure did.
That was a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
All right. Well, let me see.
And then comes Clinton.
Well, Slick Willie.
Well, I was a teenager when Clinton was in office.
Mm-hmm.
And what What
Oh
is
yeah.
Billy known for?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We got a little, we got a little BJ in
Oh, yeah. He know how to moisten them cigars, didn't he?
Yep. And then there was
Yep.
the Al Gore, George W. Bush debate where we were like, who's the president? We had that. Oh, yeah. That was the first fake election.
The
Fucking.
hanging Chad incident. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people in Florida apparently didn't know how to vote right because they were the ones that were highlighted.
Well, they were targeting all the retirees, saying they were too stupid to be able to have the strength to get the dimple into the Chad correctly.
Sure. And then you had the Obama.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a guy who was the first black president. And, you know, this a really, 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 really fucking good talker.
He sure could talk. He talks some mean shit.
I mean, give the devil his due. I mean, that guy.
He was articulate.
He made me fucking go, yeah, man, we need to really do whatever the hell you just said because it makes sense. You know, he's just really good at that.
Yeah, well, them shovel-ready jobs weren't so shovel-ready, let me tell you.
Right. And then we had Trump. This guy is on Twitter just going ballistic.
A no shit guy, shooting from the hip, not taking the
he's-
salary, telling it like it is, pissing him off.
He made the primaries fun.
Yeah.
He made everything fun. It was fun as shit.
It was like watching a movie.
Yep. And then the COVIDs and now the Bidens.
No.
Now, of all these people, I could look at old speeches, old footage of Reagan,
Mm-hmm.
of H.W. Bush,
Yep.
even Clinton,
Mm-hmm.
even George W.,
Yep.
even Obama, and of course Trump. They're all leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Love them or hate them, they're leading from they're the tip of the spear.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember the last time Joe Biden did a State of the Union. Comment below if you do.
Yeah, really.
I don't remember where he was on TV and he's standing in front of, what was it, Congress or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the vice president and he's got like and they're all,
Vodka tits Pelosi behind him, yeah.
Right. Tearing up papers with Trump.
Yeah, yeah,
mad.
Yeah, we're angry.
Yeah, be mad.
Yeah.
You're 80-year-old fucking woman. Who gives a shit what you think?
So the bar is pretty low. I mean, it's low. It's low.
Well, my point is this, is that
we could do worse.
It's a hard sell to say that the president of this country right now is leading anything.
Right.
He has been in multiple different like news conferences or speeches or whatever saying that he's not. Well, they won't let me say that. Oh, I don't know if I could say that. How many times does a handler come up to the man to lead him off stage because he doesn't know what direction to go in?
Yeah, you're being redundant at this point in time. I mean, I'm just saying it's. I know. I mean, you're basically describing his entire presidency. So it's.
But that's my point.
Yeah,
can't do any worse. So here we are, 2024, and let's pretend for 5 minutes that somehow or another you are now a presidential candidate. Let me ask you this: what do we do about the whole Russia-Ukraine deal? What do we do with that?
Well, I didn't hear U.S., Russia, and Ukraine. I don't know what the fuck we're doing over there. We get the hell out and let them figure it out all on their own.
All right. So let me play devil's advocate. Say we do that, right? We tell Ukraine, hey, guys, you guys are on your own.
Well,
you guys figure it the fuck out. Let us know how it goes.
Right.
What do you think would happen?
Do we have another hour? I mean, what do I think
would happen? Sum it up.
Yeah, it'd probably be a shit storm. Actually, you know what? Russia would go in and crush Ukraine like a fucking bug.
So I'll tell you right now, I don't hear how England is giving them billions of dollars or pounds or however they want to say it, or France or any other NATO country. The only other NATO country that I know of that's even getting fucking rowdy about this whole thing is Poland.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting more pissed off because
they're right next door.
They're right next door, and they're letting Ukraine trucks cross without a certain tax. And now the Polish truckers are pissed because they're like, hey, how come these assholes get to fucking make more money?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying. We're not winning a whole lot of friends with that shit.
No. Russia
so you're saying if Magic Wand takes president, no longer are we funding this shit?
No. Why do we have troops worried about their border when we've got our own border to worry about?
Well, that brings me to the next topic. What do we do about this border thing? What are we doing with all these? Because by now, there's already millions here.
Mm-hmm.
I recently was in Chicago, and my girlfriend is not, she's, for a lack of a better word, she just is not up on the news. Doesn't have an interest in it. Doesn't know what's going on. You know, doesn't watch news, doesn't take in news, doesn't give a fuck. And we're going by a downtown police department, you know, and these fucking cops have about, I don't know, a couple hundred fucking brown dudes and women and children hanging out in the front. This is summertime. And she's like, what's that? I'm like, well, those are the immigrants. Those are the illegal peoples that everybody's all mad about. Oh, what are they doing? Well, that's where they have to go. They live there. Oh, I had no idea. No, it's a real thing. And if anybody, you know, pays attention to any sort of news coming out of New York, it's really getting serious up there.
Oh yeah. Where
you are.
Depending on where you are.
Yeah.
Same with Los Angeles, San Francisco. I mean, Seattle, Portland, Oregon.
All these, what do they call them? Sanctuary cities.
Yeah.
It's a real problem.
It is.
So the border crisis, in my opinion, isn't just the border itself. It's what do you do with all these people, which, by the way, these are just the people that we know about because they've already caught known terrorists from the Middle East trying to sneak over through the southern border. There's already TikTok videos from China trying to teach these guys how to come over.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do about this whole, let's just call it like it is, illegal immigration crisis? What do you do about it?
The very first step is to remember that the first rule of holes is when you're in one, you stop digging. You close the borders. Right. Once you get a handle on the borders, and you create a flow so people that want to come into this country legally can sign our guest book. And we can assimilate them correctly. If they're not able to assimilate, if they don't have the credentials, if they don't have if they can't fit our bill, go back to your own country. I don't give a fuck what you have to do. Just don't be here. Well, you got the troops that are going to come back because we don't need them out in other places, right? I mean, what the hell? Everybody in Ukraine, for crying out loud, the infrastructure can come back here. Of course, we've got some amendment issues we have to deal with in terms like posse comitatus, whatever amendment that is. What is it, the 14th Amendment, or this is the 10th? I think it is.
Yeah.
Posse comitatus, and we would probably have to rescind that or put an executive emergency order in place that would allow them to be able to help within the infrastructure of the country and to be able to get a handle on it. Now, unfortunately, because of the magnitude of the amount of people that we've already let in, we've got a very Herculean task at hand, which is to take a tally of them to find out which ones can stay and which ones can leave.
Well, and I look at it like this. So my question would be this. And you used a lot of big words, and I kind of know them. Basically, what you're saying is that the way our Constitution is set up right now, the way our military is set up right now, is that the United States military can't do actions on our soil. Meaning, we can't send, say, the Navy SEALs to go into Texas to take care of fucking immigrants.
Correct.
Okay. Not that, I'm just saying, that's not what you're saying, but that's kind of what.
It's an example. Yes.
Right. However, I would say I feel that we already have that without changing anything. You have the National Guard. Look at what Abbott's doing in Texas.
Well, the National Guard was federalized quite within the past couple of years, and that allowed them to be the ability to have National Guard troops go to other states and be able to do stuff within the infrastructure of the United States.
Yes and no. Right now, the National Guard is still under each. So every state has a National Guard that's controlled by the governor. It's still technically the U.S. Army or whatever, but it's controlled
they're reserves,
by said governor.
Right.
The governor controls the reserves. That's how Abbott's doing what he's doing in Texas.
Right.
Okay. Now, Biden can, by executive order, federalize it like they did for the civil rights movement back in the day when, certain states weren't letting
Ohio.
Yeah.
Well, no, amongst the ones. Yeah, I know Mississippi. That was
right. That whole thing. But
Alabama,
it would look very
Birmingham.
bad if a governor's trying to protect his states from illegals and the president says, nope, I'm going to federalize them and say, nope, stand down, man. Let them in.
Yeah. It's there's no easy solution to this.
No.
It's so complicated. I mean, and obviously there's humanitarian necessity that comes into play here. But we can't blanket coverage the entirety of the immigrants. We've got to go through and sort them to see which one of these are the bad apples. We've got to find out, are they, why are they here,
What criteria do you use?
That's
because
a good question.
Technically, if they're seeking asylum, it's because of repression and political, differences or fear of what. Saying that you just want a good job is not sanctuary. It's just not.
No,
your life has to be in danger in whatever said country you're from in order to claim sanctuary. So how do we do that?
That's a good question, because what you're talking about, anything that we do is going to mean a lot of manpower.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we've got a lot of retired American citizens retired from the military, and they all know what their oath entails. I would imagine that a good percentage of them would give up their time to a certain degree towards these efforts, to help.
I don't even know if it goes that far. You could actually use the resources that you already have.
Sure.
The way I look at it is like this. Say you have, I don't know, 50,000, throwing a number out there, immigrants in Chicago. Okay. They're all claiming sanctuary or whatever. Okay. As of right now, they're basically sleeping at police stations or whatever makeshift hotel, auditorium, whatever the fuck that government's doing. They're okay. You guys just hang out here for a while. Here's a cell phone. Here's some cash. Here's some food. We're going to take care of you.
New York City actually cleared a few of their high schools out, and those students who are going to that high school are going remotely from their home, and the immigrants are living in the high school.
Right. And now they're talking about giving them, they have like $53 million earmarked for basically disposable credit cards to give these people.
I mean, the state of Massachusetts, the governor from Massachusetts actually called out to the citizenry of that state to say, hey, maybe you can host a family in your home.
No, so did New York.
Yeah.
And they're, we'll give you money if you do it.
Yeah. That's not the first time. Massachusetts actually did that back with Vietnam when they had a lot of the Vietnamese immigrants. That's a whole different type of immigration that was going on back then. They were definitely.
That is almost like a sanctuary type. I mean, because there was kind of like a war going on.
Yeah.
In their country, I could see
that. Not kind of. It was pretty real. Yeah.
But how do you get rid of them? Because now you got all these people. Everybody saw the videos of those one dudes that beat up cops and they got released and middle fingers and all that jazz.
Yeah. Then they went to California. Yeah.
So, and yeah, I know other news outlets or whatever, they put, you know, women and children at the forefront. They're like, oh, what are you gonna do with these families? You know, I mean, they're just trying to find a better life. Why do you want to be dicks to them? And then again, how do you send them back? Because it's not that easy.
No, it's not. Reagan, you know, was tasked with something very similar during his presidency. Now, of course, you just talked about how you didn't give a fuck or pay attention during Reagan, but he provided amnesty for approximately 10 million illegal aliens at that point in time in this country, and that was his solution.
And it was also California's downfall.
Yes, it was.
Because then after that, they went hardcore Democrat. The only other Republican governor they ever had was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and how the fuck that happened, I don't know. I know it was over a recall.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you had the Terminator in charge of California.
It was actually pretty fucking cool, you know, for a minute.
And now California is the biggest. And how you fuck up like the best state in the world. Like California's probably got some of the best landscape and everything. You know what I mean? Find another place on planet Earth that's better than California when it comes to like temperature and scenery, you name it.
Right now, Mother Nature is doing a little bit of a scour clean on California, the coast area and the Sierra Nevadas. They're getting a lot of rain right now.
But then they bitch about how there's no water.
Oh, there's plenty of water now.
Yeah, so
Lake Mead's filling up like a motherfucker, man.
Well, good. Because I remember a couple years ago they were claiming global warming because the thing was draining out and they were finding dead bodies from the mob.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know,
so now it's good global warming.
What are you gonna do? So I mean, obviously, why'd you pick immigration first? We're gonna go on something easier.
Actually, it was second.
It was second?
Yes. First was Ukraine and Russia.
Oh, that's right. Well, let's move on to number 3 then.
See, you're already a politician.
Fuck, I'm not stupid.
Well, what's the other hot?
I'd have a no shit presidency, brother. I don't want to spend more time than I have to on something, you know?
Hey, I got you.
I mean, electric cars.
Let's talk about Gaza and Israel.
Oh,
Hamas.
wonderful.
What's going on over there? We are almost at war with these people. We're now bombing shit.
Oh,
so, how do we clean that mess up?
A good question. That is an excellent question. If you would have talked to me 40 years ago in my 20s, I would have told you to make it a big glass parking lot. But let's just say I've calmed down a little since those days, and maybe I have more of a humanitarian answer to it all. But I mean, you know, fuck, they've been fighting those wars over there. I think they've forgotten what they're fighting about overall.
No,
you know
I don't believe that, and I'll tell you why. Hamas very much has one goal, and that's from the river to the sea, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's in their, and it's basically the eradication of Israel. Okay. If anybody wants to research how Palestine and all that stuff went down, go right ahead. They feel like the land was stolen from them, yada, yada, yada. Who gives a shit?
In 1946, right after World War II, and basically
and then
Israel declared itself a country.
Well, they didn't so much declare themselves a country as far as they were given it by Great Britain, because Great Britain had, you know, everybody kind of forgets the fact that when they, like, these like liberal type people are like, hey, we need to be more like England now, right? Because back in the day, those guys were colonizing the whole goddamn. Talk about India for a second.
Yeah, no shit.
Turned India into Walmart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Eddie, remember comedian as Eddie Izzard? He remember he talked about that. He's like, you know, talking about you know, England going into the country. We declare this for great. Excuse me, you got to wait. We declare this country for great. Who the fuck are these guys? You know?
Yeah.
You know, they're the indigenous personnel of here. Indigenous personnel of the land. Do they have a flag? Oh, we have a flag. Yeah, I mean, oh no, you're fuck.
And talk about, you know, I mean, that's, you know, what happened, and it doesn't matter because it's all part of history. And then there was that, what was that, 7-Day War or whatever the hell it was, where basically Egypt and Jordan and all these other Muslim countries went after Israel, and Israel said, fuck you. And they just went and started kicking ass and taking names.
Mm-hmm.
mainly because we funded them.
It was a 7-day war, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this has been going on for decades.
Yes.
Decades. Now, we can't forget October 7th. Right?
No.
This all popped off because Hamas sent people over with paragliders and crazy shit went down. Right? That's what kicked this off.
No doubt.
This new fight. This is what kicked it off.
Mm-hmm.
So now here we are. And now people are outraged. People all over the world are outraged because Israel is bombing the fuck out of this little pisshole country that is essentially a third world country, and they call it an open air prison because they can't leave and yada yada yada. Yet they only share one border with Israel. There's 2 other fucking borders, so maybe talk to those guys why they won't let them in.
Yeah.
But hey,
Syria,
whatever.
What is it? Syria and Egypt, I think it is.
It's Egypt and I think Lebanon.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And yeah, they don't want them either. But it's all Israel's fault. And
here's the deal, though. It's not America. Like, I mean, I think it personally, and the premise of the question still remains: if I had the political backing was on the ticket, what would I do if I was in a debate? And I think that at this point in time, America has to take with their troops and the rest of what we're doing in the rest of the world and go, all right, everybody out of the pool, come on back here into this country. Let's regroup. Let's get our infrastructure. Let's collect all our belongings. Let's deal with what's going on with us here in our country right now. Once we get ourselves shored up, then we can go back out and we can start our humanitarian efforts to give the world what we have in our country.
Here's the problem with that, and I'll bring it up to you.
A lot of problems with that, yes.
Israel's a NATO country.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that NATO stood for was if one's at war, all's at war.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Israel seems to be at war.
I say fuck NATO.
I agree.
I say get the hell out of NATO. That's what I say. And I say kick the UN out of our country.
Why and here's what I would say to that. I would almost agree to
the bill for that.
I would almost agree to that, and here's why. NATO was invented because of the threat of the Soviet Union, USSR. Because after World War II, Russia was a big dick player in the room, and they started taking over all these Eastern European Slavic countries. Your Poland, your Yugoslavia, which isn't around anymore.
That whole weird deal in Germany with East and West Germany.
You had East and West Germany, it was, that's what it was. And then NATO was designed to be the counter of that. Just in case Russia got weird, we had a coalition of the willing, as they say.
Right.
Was ready to respond. And that kind of fell apart because we had what's called the Cold War, and Russia lost that because, well, there's no more USSR. And now even those countries are part of NATO, like Poland. And that what's kind of kicked off the whole Ukraine deal was because Putin didn't want Ukraine to be part of
NATO. Yeah.
Because he doesn't want NATO fucking missiles on his doorstep.
Well, there's a lot of people that are of the influence that Ukraine has been a huge money laundering area for a lot of the Western politicians, as it were.
Oh, it absolutely has been.
Exactly. I was trying to dance around that subject, but no, it's definitely there's a lot of dollar signs involved with what we're doing over in there right now.
And the only reason that fucking regime is in power is because we sort of, but not really, but in a way, kind of overthrew the government.
We
more of a
definitely
American favorable government.
We can watch it on videos.
Yes.
Our current president even talks about it, how he influenced that. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Slinsky, yeah, he's literally our puppet.
Oh yeah.
And because the former administration over there was more pro Russia, because there's a lot of they feel that they're more Russian than they are American in the Ukraine.
Mm.
So we put in a pro America guy,
Mm-hmm.
more West guy. And now
Oh.
chaos ensues. But that brings me back to Israel. Israel is our only ally in the Middle East that's rock solid on our side, meaning they have our shared values, as it were, democracy and freedoms, certain freedoms or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there was the Abraham Accord where even Egypt was like, okay, maybe Israel can exist, and Saudi Arabia is like, okay, fine, they're a country.
Mm.
And then Hamas was like, oh no, fuck you. But who are they backed by? Who are all these people backed by? Your Houthis, your Hamas, your Hezbollah, however the fuck you say their name.
Oh God. I mean,
Well, they're all backed by Iran.
I know.
So Iran is over here just have some bombs, guys. Yeah. I mean, if you drop them on some ships over here in the Red Sea, it's no big deal.
Let's not talk about the round boy up there in North Korea. He he likes to stay in the back of the scenes, but let me tell you, he's greasing some slides too and helping some things out. So,
well, then that would also bring me to China and Taiwan.
Yeah.
Because now old G, or G, however the fuck you say his name, the CCP, they're getting all like, after Taiwan's little erection that they had.
Yeah,
They got a new president. And China's like, what do you mean you guys got a president? You guys are part of us. And they're like, oh, no, we're not. And they're like, okay.
No, they said, no, the U.S. said that we can break away from you and we can be our own deal. And China was like,
we had our own president as of right now of 2024 said they recognize a one China policy. So if you were president in 2024, would you recommend a one China policy?
I would sit back and just watch China implode because they're already imploding economically anyway. If my presidency stands for anything, and it's going to be America first.
Well, here's the question. You can be America first. And I think I speak for everybody who's listening. That's a good platform. Because who doesn't want to be first? I'm American. Most people listening to me, all 8 of us.
If you ain't first, you're last.
We're American for the most part. Where was that other country that like we're popular in? It was weird. The Netherlands or something like that?
Oh,
it made no sense.
Oh, we were big in Denmark. We were banned in Denmark.
Yeah, we got banned from Denmark. Yeah, apparently Denmark's fucking
shit. Yeah, it was Germany.
Too hot for Denmark.
Yeah, Germany. I don't care. You're right. Internationally, we did. We fucking New Zealand, Australia.
Yeah. Anyways, but my point is this: we do a lot of trading with Taiwan. We all remember COVID and how that impacted car prices because certain plants weren't producing the microchips that, let's be honest, run everything, whether it's a pickup truck or a guided missile, come out of Taiwan.
Yeah, we had millions of vehicles that we couldn't even sell because they didn't have the chips.
And that fucked up our economy. It fucks up our self-defense. Fucks up, let's be honest, our medical industry when it comes to China, because it just turns out, hey, we didn't realize before COVID we got all our drugs from fucking China.
Who knew? Yeah.
So if we let Taiwan fall to China, which would happen if we didn't back them, let's be quite honest. If you ever looked at a globe, Taiwan is very small. China's very big. If we let Taiwan fall to China, they now control all our technology when it comes to chip technology.
Yeah, well.
And they're not exactly our BFFs.
No, they are not. But
which brings me back to the whole Israel and Palestine Gaza deal, because Russia, Iran, and China are all linked together now, saying that, hey, Israel needs to chill the fuck out and let Gaza do Gaza. But that goes against our narrative.
The narrative, yes. I tell you what, brother, America's got to buck up. The citizens of America have to buck up and understand that there's no good solution to any of this as it stands right now. There is no one set way. There is no one solution to solve this. But if we can start back with the basics, like I said, you bring your troops back in, you stop trade. We're sitting on enough oil in this world and in this country right here to flood the whole world. If you know oil production's back up in this country, but the price is still sitting up there because of greed,
Well,
we're producing more oil in this country than we were before.
well, with oil prices, it's all projection.
Well, we had no choice but to do it because the oil market went off the American dollar.
Right.
A
Well,
little kerfuffle there.
yeah, but with that being said, if we went completely nationalists,
Mhm.
right? Like we like, hey, you know what? We're going to let the world do the world. We're just going to be an island, right?
Mhm.
You know, what would happen? There would be what's called a power vacuum.
There would definitely be a vacuum, yeah.
Okay. We have our fingers in a lot of countries.
Yeah, more than we should.
Look at what happened with the recent attack on bases in Iraq, which caused us to start bombing other parts of the world. Okay. We bring them all back. We say, look at Afghanistan, for example. Afghanistan sits on some of the biggest lithium mines in the world,
Mhm.
which just so happen go in every smartphone, electric car, you name it.
Cobalt as well.
Right. That's more Africa, Congo. But I'm just saying, as far as like lithium goes,
Oh yeah.
Afghanistan's got a huge.
Oh yeah.
And I'm glad you brought up cobalt because, well, what happened to the cobalt industry in Africa? Who runs that? Well, that would be China.
Mhm.
China controls most of the cobalt plants in Africa. And they did it by saying, hey, guys, you guys like roads? Yeah, we'll build you some roads. Pay us back later. And they were like, oh, well, thank you very much there, China. Thank you for building some roads. Yeah, cool. It's time to pay the piper. Hey, that cobalt mucking mine? Yeah, that's our mine now. Well, but hey, remember those roads that y'all wanted? Yeah,
Mhm.
we'll take that cobalt mine. No big deal. Anyways, well, what do you think they're doing now in Afghanistan? Because Taliban, they don't give a flying fuck about. They just want to make, women wear rags over their face and cut off people's hands and shit. They don't give a
the
fuck.
CIA created the Taliban, so I mean,
Well, you know what I'm saying.
I
Like,
do, yeah.
there's that power vacuum again.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go nationalist, right? If we say fuck the world, it's just us. Well, everywhere else in the world is going to get taken over by other countries that are bigger than the rest of the world. Like say let's say we leave Israel alone. We say, Israel, good luck to you, bud. Well, they're now going to be in a fight with Iran, Libya, Syria, all these other countries that are surrounding them that are Muslim countries that hate Jewish people because, their great book says so. What's going to happen to Israel?
Well, let's think about this for a second. Okay, so let's say that we do that. We cut it off. We become nationalist. A lot of these countries that we've been embedded in, that we've had some agreements with, are hanging in the breeze. They're going to get desperate, aren't they?
Oh, they absolutely are.
And they're not going to necessarily want to go with the bad guys. And
Where are they going to go?
They don't necessarily want to get taken over, but it gives America a little bit of leverage where they're going to come and go, hey man, like you need to help us out a little. Well, it's okay. So here's our terms. We're going to have to help the world. We've got the infrastructure to do it. We're going to have to help. But we've got to bring it back. We've got to make Well, we can in the beginning, because that's going to certainly weed out a lot of that, and we're going to
Well, we
find
could
out
stop certain funding.
we most definitely should.
Now, here's what's going to hit first, in my opinion, is Europe. Because let's be honest, the reason why there's socialized medicine in places like England and Germany and France and all these other places is because they don't have the defense budget that the US has. Because let's be honest, they rely on us to have their back. It's kind of like that guy that runs around and talks shit at the bar. Right? He doesn't have to lift weights or learn how to fight because he's got his big brother behind him that's 6 foot whatever and trains jiu-jitsu or whatever, MMA, to have his back if shit goes down. That's Europe. Let's be real. After World War II and the Cold War, Europe has kind of relied on us to come in and say, not going to happen. That's NATO, by the way.
Yeah, but for years, we have been going in and helping out countries that refuse to help themselves. They look at us as to be like the fucking wet nurse to bring them along. You know, I mean, you got to sort of want the country to, like, you know, we'll help you out where you can, but you guys got to kind of fucking, you know, get your hands dirty here too. And there's been a lot of countries that have been banking off the U.S. and banking off our military and allowing us to subjugate them, but where they don't have to get their hands dirty. They can sit back and rest on our laurels.
Right.
Time to buck up, man. It's gonna be a rocky road till we get this figured out.
Right.
And you got to break some eggs to make an omelet.
That's right. All right. One last thing. And this is the fun one.
Well, that wasn't
feel
fun.
that we're deep enough in the video where if this goes on YouTube, they won't like ban it because they, you know, the algorithms probably already moved on.
Well, we've already been talking Israel, so that's going to bring up a hot button there anyway. So
it doesn't matter. You can talk about that all you want.
We didn't say bad set. That's right.
Right. Nobody said vaccine, so right. That's important.
You just
did. I just did.
Anyway, okay, the fun one.
The fun video. They don't pay attention after this point.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yep.
Let's be honest. Most people already turned this off, but it's like my mom and like 4 other people listening right now. So let's talk about this new dilemma in the country, which are that according to most studies and surveys, that Gen Z they are more likely to be transgender than Republican or Democrat, meaning they don't have they're 2/3 of Gen Z is semi-normal. The other third is now trans or in some LGBTQRS XY.
EIEO, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what policies do you think you could put in place to try to curb that? Because there is literally a case right now in New York where a guy lost custody of his kid because he wouldn't confirm his kid was trans when he was 9. Like, puberty blockers are a thing.
Yeah.
There are women who are, by all accounts, children. 15, 14, getting their tits lobbed off. Right? That's happening.
Oh, yeah.
And there's certain states that are allowing it, certain states that aren't. In California, if a kid says he's trans, or she says, or they say, Zed says, whatever the fuck, whatever they say, like, hey, I'm pansexual, which I don't even know what the fuck that means. You like pans? I don't know. I fuck kitchen appliances. I don't know.
I think pansexual is the one where they don't consider themselves to be male or female. They exist.
I thought that was non-binary.
Oh, maybe they're that too.
See, we don't know. Nobody knows. I don't have
I don't
I
know.
don't have my decoder ring, you know?
Well, we're called cisgender, CIS, because we're normal.
Isn't that like a Star Wars thing?
I don't know, man. I mean, why did you pick this one? Really?
Well,
Really?
it's a big deal.
It is a big deal,
It's a
but
big deal.
you're talking about a slow burn that's happened over decades. That's a
No, this has not been decades.
no,
I'll
no,
be
no, no,
honest
no,
with you.
no, no,
We
no.
didn't know what the
I disagree.
oh, please.
It has been a slow burn building to what we're experiencing right now. It has been a long time coming where they've been slowly normalizing certain aspects of it. We just seem to be on this tangential rise, this meteoric rise of it right now. It's coming to an exponential head. And so that's why it seems like it's just recent because it's out of control. I mean, why do you think it's not?
Well, I absolutely think it is. That's why I brought it up.
No, the slow burn part.
Well, here's what I think. Here's how I look at it. So in the 90s was kind of like the 60s, as far as there was this huge movement to accept everybody. And it was mostly gays and minorities, which I would think, just from what I saw, a lot of people accepted it. You know, the gay movement really started in the 70s, like really hard, that whole milk dude and shit.
Oh, Harvey Milk, yeah.
Yeah. In the 80s, it was starting to become a little bit more normalized. You started seeing more feminine men on TV and, but in the 90s, it really ramped up.
Oh,
the whole
yeah.
gay lesbian movement.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the 90s, there was also a big push for minorities, whether it's Black or Hispanic or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a big push to get those people up and going. And it happened.
Mm-hmm.
It happened. It happened for 10 years. From 2000 to 2010, it was almost like a harmony. Like nobody gave a shit. A lot of people forget the fact that Barack Obama was against gay marriage when he first was getting into office. Because there was like a cultural deal where I'm sure some of you had Black friends, but I grew up around Black people half my life. And just so you know, that whole LGBTQRS.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
That whole thing, there's a number in there. I don't know. Like, Black culture really isn't cool with that. Like, they don't like gay shit.
In prison, they do.
Really don't.
In prison, they're going to keep it on the down low. That's a little different, What happens what happens in the dead of the night and in the cell block, stays in the dead of the night in the cell block.
But if you were, let's say, in a Black neighborhood and they're like, hey man, I think I might be a chick, they're not going to be as welcoming as, say, if you were in some Connecticut suburb somewhere and said, hey man, I might be a chick, and they'd be like, oh, you're so brave. You're so brave. And I bring all this up to say this. I think this really started getting crazy with social media. Right around 2012 is when it started amping up, because smartphones, social medias, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, whatever, your TikToks. And now, we've talked about it before when it comes to MC shit, you can't say you're not on social media, because social media is a fucking norm of society these days. So you got to be on social media, otherwise you don't even exist.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the reality of the situation. It's a great evil. And it is also the law of the land these days. There's no more, we can't go back. We're here. Here we are. You're listening to me on social media right now.
Right.
To prove a point. So, but there needs to be laws to protect, I would assume, there at least needs to be laws to protect kids. We have laws to protect kids from everything else, from sexual predators, right? I can't go to a high school and pull up on a Harley and pick up a fucking freshman. That's illegal. There's laws to prevent that, right? I can't. But all right, let's put it this way. Let's say I have a kid, right, who's 15, and they say, hey man, I really want a tattoo. Like I really, 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 really want a tattoo. There's laws saying I can't get my kid a tattoo. Let's say that same kid says, well, hey, I really want to drink. I want to have alcohol. Nope, can't. Gotta wait till you're 21. I want a cigarette. Nope, can't wait. Gotta wait till you're 21. Oh, nope, I want to join the military. Oh, no, you gotta wait till you're 18. Oh, hey, I think I'm a girl. I'm gonna chop my dick off. No problem. Should there be a federal law saying that there could be no gender confirming care for anybody under 18? Your opinion?
Well, my opinion is, yeah, that would be a great law to have, but what you're talking about largely is equal application of the law.
Well, you
Equal,
have to have that in a free society.
you
Otherwise,
have to have
you
it,
haven't. Yeah.
but we do not right now. Imagine this scenario. Let's say that you were to show up, you've got a 6-year-old kid and you show up at, dad's work day, and you happen to be the parent in the classroom, and you're going to start talking to these kids about sex. You're going to start talking to them about sexuality, and start talking to them about the things that really should like to be the parents, who are raising the kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It should be their option to be able to talk about it first. And you're talking about gender reassignment and everything. All right. By law, I mean, what you're going in there. I mean, normal society, you would think would say, hey, like, the guy's a pedophile, the guy's this, the guy's that, get him out of there, arrest him. But you've got teachers in the same scenario who are now doing that, and it's part of their curriculum. But that's acceptable. So I mean, you've got what we're talking about is an adult influencing a child to chop their dick off, but one of them can do it and the other can't. That's
Gotcha.
a problem.
Hit
That's a
pause.
problem.
I have to pee. I'm going to pee myself.
Me
But I
too.
want to continue this. Hold on. Pause.
All right. So you wanted to get
Didn't
back
say
to
recording in progress on my end.
because I did it when you went by.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. We're rolling. Recording. I see it at the top.
we had to take a pee break.
We did have to take a pee break. Yeah. Well, we're on a hot topic here,
But here's why I say what I say. Because it comes back to what I was talking about in the very beginning. If anybody's still listening, if you remember the beginning, leadership, right? The president of anything, company, church group, motorcycle club, right? The president's job is to move said organization, country, whatever he's in charge of, whatever he's the president of, it's to move them towards a common goal, right?
Yeah, you're a facilitator.
So, right. It's your job. Say, hey, what do if you're not a dictator, you would ask your constituents, your members, your whatever, what's the common goal? If you're a business, it's to make money, right? In a capitalist society, profit is the number one driving force, right? Right. Every company wants to make more money than they did the last quarter. That's the way the world works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you're a country, or even an MC for that matter, it's prosperity. You want your country or club to be better off next year than it is this year.
Right.
Right? We're going to go
Sure.
forward, right?
Yeah.
Barack Obama's whole thing was forward. Liberals.
That was
right?
hope and change, but yeah, okay.
Democrat. Well, whatever. It's all they consider themselves progressive, right?
Mhm.
To
Yeah.
progress, to move forward. How in the fuck does it move a country forward if a third of the next generation doesn't know what sex they are?
They don't know what
can't
bathroom to
even-
use, yeah.
Look, we're all human beings, right? We're all on this planet because a mommy and a daddy loved each other very much. And they created us, right?
Yeah.
Without getting too graphic, but that's what happens, right?
Two
That's
people,
nature.
one with an extra chromosome, yeah, because that's how
Okay.
it works.
So if a third of said generation doesn't even believe that they are what they are, right? Well, then how does this move a country forward? Because now you're going to have less people. And I know there's less people theories where less people is a good thing. India don't think that. China don't think that. Russia don't think that. That's a Western thing.
Seems to
Go to
be.
China and say you're trans. See what happens.
Yeah,
Iran will throw you off a fucking building if you're
Yeah, yeah. Defenestration is a real deal. That's right.
gay. So the reason why I say what I said before is that we have to recognize that if you're over 18, right, you're an adult and you want to say, hey, you know what? My name might be Larry, but I feel more like a Lucy. Hey, man, my politics are, I think lesbians should protect their marijuana farm with machine guns. I don't give a fuck. Fine. You're Lucy now. Great. Nice to see you, Lucy. Get me a fucking cheeseburger because, you know, you're not climbing the corporate ladder with that attitude. You know what I mean?
But they've taken it one step further. There's people out there transforming themselves into cats and lizards and snakes.
Right.
Bodily, marring themselves bodily and tattooing and getting implants.
And if you're an adult in a free society, you should be able to do that, in my opinion.
I
My
agree.
problem is when we let kids do it.
Right.
Because
we influencing them to do that. Yes.
I mean, when I was 8, I wanted to be a robot. I saw RoboCop. I thought that was the coolest thing. Let's go do that.
That'd be pretty cool, man. Yeah.
It would be pretty cool. I still think it'd be cool, but it's kind of not realistic.
No,
Maybe
no,
someday
it's not.
Elon's on top of it, but it's not a thing. Can't be a dinosaur. You know what I mean?
Well, you can be, but the problem lies is when you ask other people to believe in your delusion. And
Right.
that's the problem. That's the problem. But getting back to what you're talking about with kids, I mean, I don't know if you remember last summer, in Rockton, Illinois, which is just south of the border, it happens to be where my mom lives. They were having drag queens come in to the local library, the Talcott Free Library, and on the premise that the drag queens were going to show little kids how to apply makeup.
Right.
Which, in and of itself, sure, I can see, you want to do that, you want to do that. But when the community steps in, I think largely the community should be in charge of what they accept within that community in America. That's part of America's a melting pot, right? I mean, we've got all these other little things going on. That's why we have the separation of states. That's why the states handle most of the bullshit. And basically, the federal government is supposed to deal with immigration, supposed to deal with national defense, and they're supposed to deal with our monetary system. Other than that, it should be with the states. So my thoughts is that if somebody wants to live in a place where you can run around and say, yeah, I'm a fire hydrant, pee on me, and that town's like all cool with that, then go live there. But I don't think it is acceptable one bit to influence a very impressionable young child's mind to chop your dick off or your tits off and to influence them about things about sexuality before they even know what sexuality is.
Well, and don't disagree, but here's my point, and feel free to argue against it. But so you have state government, federal government.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you're talking about the states should be able to run the state.
Well, that's
right?
the way it's supposed to be, yeah.
And right. And a lot of what, say, the right wing or Republican platform is smaller federal government. Right?
Well, they like you to think that, but they certainly like to spend that money, don't they? Just the same.
They really do.
They really do. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Both parties are of the same bird, which is basically let's make as much money as possible. That's why all these Congress people have a job that makes $140,000 a year.
Oh, no.
They're all millionaires. How's that work? I don't know math.
Base salary is $174,000 a year.
Yeah, but they're all millionaires by the time they're done. That's weird.
That is really weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so weird. How does that happen? So weird. I'm sure that, JP Morgan really, really wants to hear what Hillary Clinton has to say for 500,000 fucking dollars.
But
I'm sure that speaks.
right, yeah, no shit.
I'm sure they learned a lot.
But you know, getting back to the kids.
But no, here's my point.
Okay, okay.
So, yes, I agree that a state should be able to choose when it comes to, say, abortion
Yeah.
or
Legalizing marijuana.
exactly.
Yeah.
For the record, I think it should be federally legalized. Why the fuck there's this ban on weed with knowing everything that we know to current date is ridiculous.
Well, just
It's
look up the
just
history of DuPont Chemicals and Anslinger was his
Right.
name. But either
I'm
way,
just saying, it's
yeah.
2024. I think half the country has legalized it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and most of the country smokes it. So yeah.
Just,
Yeah,
if I
I
can
know.
pour
I know.
whiskey ginger ales all day long, I should be able to fucking have a gummy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Smoke a bowl or yeah, whatever. Yeah. Whatever. I agree.
Right. I mean, should cocaine be legal and heroin and fucking mushrooms or whatever? You know what? I don't know. I mean, can you make everything legal? Probably not, because, yeah, you can kill yourself off of Tylenol, but, nobody's doing a shit ton of fucking Tylenol to make the pain go away per se. You know what I mean? Anyways,
Your liver will shut down.
short story long. What I mean by what I talked about earlier when it comes to the transgender LGBT,
Mhm.
if you allow the youth, because the youth is the future. It's not just a catchy song from the fucking 80s. It's a real fucking thing. Shout out or Sexual Chocolate. But you
Sexual
have
chocolate.
Sexual Chocolate. I believe the children are our future. Thank you. No, anyways.
That boy can sing. I know.
Anyways.
I'll stop it.
Anyways.
We do this, folks, by the way. Just
all three of you are still listening. But my point is,
and your mom.
If you allow, let's say 50% of the country to have these no limit, do whatever you want to your kids when it comes to their sexuality, their gender, their reproductive fucking organs, which is crazy to me.
Insane.
Yeah, because if you've been around a kid ever, I mean, if you let them have ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they would.
Of course.
But yet we will do things to alter their entire life forever because they feel a certain way.
Right.
Whatever happened to just crazy?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and right. Instead of full goose bozo crazy.
So if a particular governor or state won't put a law in the book saying that this is unacceptable, you can't do this to people that are under 18, regardless of what a parent thinks, because it ultimately, yes, you're a parent, but you're also a citizen of America. Your child is a citizen of America. And we only have a strong country if the citizens are somewhat capable of at least producing life to continue the country. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a law in the book that stops, let's say, child mutilation, certain states won't do it. If you're a real blue state, which Wisconsin's kind of purple,
yeah.
But say in Illinois or in New York or in California, right? It's open season.
Mm-hmm.
They're puberty. I mean, they're doing crazy shit, right? In my eyes. But if you don't have a federal law saying, no, you can't do that, how are you going to solve the problem? Because half the country is going to be blue-haired freaks and the other half's going to be like gun-toting militia types. That's how you start a civil war. That's fucked up. It's kind of like being in a motorcycle club where, say, half the guys are like, you know what? I don't think we should ride motorcycles anymore. I think we should ride mopeds because mopeds are better for the environment. They get better gas mileage. And why do we really need to go that fast, that far? And saying, well, guys, you guys do you. We'll be over here on our Harleys fucking crossing. What's going to happen to the club? It's going to fall the fuck apart. Because now you have a weak link in the chain. Layers. But you got to have a single site focus where, okay, in order to be prosperous, we have to do this at least to go forward.
Yeah, at the very minimum, we need. You're right. We're talking about base morality laws. Because I mean, there is no pro argument that should normalize pedophilia. There is no pro argument that says it acceptable for an association like, what is it, NAMBLA? You heard of NAMBLA? Was that the
Think
North
so.
American Man Boy Love Association?
Well,
I
those
mean,
are the what do they call them? Minor attracted people.
well, that's what they call them now, because see, that's part of it. What they're trying to do is normalize pedophilia. That's a
Right.
problem. I mean,
Yeah.
we have documented cases at this point in time in this country where gay couples have adopted a kid, and then now they've been 2-3 years later they're charged and convicted and go to jail for pedophilia because they're caught diddling the kids.
Right.
Gee, I didn't see that happening at all. Did you? I didn't.
And it started a lot in the male gay community
Mm-hmm.
where like 15-year-old kids or teenagers would go out to these gay spots and have sex with 30, 40-year-old men.
Mm-hmm. They called them
And
pickle parts.
there's some law in California saying, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Well, then
I mean,
let's stop in, I don't know, drag queen story hour then.
it's a slippery slope, isn't it? I mean,
I don't think so. I think there just needs to be a stand.
well, I agree. I agree. I mean, but first we have to define what is deviancy. And when they keep redefining what it is to be sexually deviant or what it is to, but they're trying to normalize deviant behavior. That's a problem.
And let's bring this all home with the fact that two guys that ride motorcycles that have questionable pasts are now bringing this up.
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about the type of shit that we used to talk about when we were kids about how society wouldn't let us ride loud Harleys, grow our hair long, have facial hair,
Not wear a helmet,
catch a buzz, wear a helmet, you name it.
Yep.
They wanted us to all be super safe in a station wagon with 2.5 kids in a nuclear family. And if you didn't do that, then you were a piece of shit. So that's when we came in and we're like, no, fuck you. I want freedom. I want, to be a vagabond. I want to be able to catch a buzz and pass out on a fucking park bench somewhere.
Or not.
Or not.
I just want the right to be able to pick and choose what I can do.
Right. That was our fight.
Yeah.
But nowadays, they're like, well, no, I should be able to let my child determine its sex at 5. No. Maybe you should, like, I don't know, mental health might come into the play. Like, maybe the whole defund the police movement where they were like, well, what if social workers showed up to these crises where there was a guy, I don't know, waving a gun around in the middle of the street saying he's going to kill all the honkies. You know what I mean? Well, let's get a social worker out there to talk to him. I don't know if that's time for a social worker.
Hey, that's what's going to happen to the social worker.
So maybe address the mental health crisis at its root, which is society's mental health crisis. No, it's not okay for a kid to pick his gender because let's be honest, kids are dumb. They're influenced so easy.
Oh, yeah.
We all remember Saturday morning cartoons. What sugary bullshit fucking cereal did you beg your parents for? You know what I mean?
Well, hold on though. I grew up with Bugs Bunny and all that. All right. I haven't blown up anything. I mean, well, anything and killed anything, blown it up. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do any of those.
Wile E. Coyote taught me that I never want to buy anything that says Acme on it because it's just going to be disastrous.
But he did teach us that if you did order from Acme, you'd get it like that.
Acme might be the new Amazon, or Amazon might be the new Acme.
Acme.
I don't know. Is there a thread there? I don't know.
Could be. It might be $1 billion idea for all we know.
But my point is, like, kids are easily influenced.
Yes.
Look at every We just had a Christmas season not too long ago. Most Christmases are in American households are consumer driven.
Very
What's
much
the
so.
newest,
Yes.
hottest thing that the kids want?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the newest, hottest trend going on?
Yeah. The Cabbage Patch Kid phenomenon.
Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies. Yeah.
Tickle Me Elmos.
Whatever. Pick a year. You know.
Name the gaming platform system that cost $1 million that's going to be obsolete in 3 years.
3 years, probably 3 days. You know. I mean.
Oh, what, you got a PS5? Oh, it's going to cost you $2,000 to get one because there's only X amount made. 3
Yeah.
years later, PS5, fucking PS6 is coming out, motherfucker. You don't even know.
Well, what you're really talking about is you're talking about back to basics, common sense. And until we can have those common sense basic arguments where we bring it down to the base value of it, like, look, you're mutilating a child. Oh, no, we're not. He's making such a beautiful choice for his body because of the rest of the. How does he know? Because we're not even allowed to have that conversation at this point in time. We're having it now, but I'm just saying if it's out there in the mainstream and social media, you get excoriated because people are looking for that virtue signaling, right? You get drowned out by the idiots.
Right.
And that creates an issue. People see that happen, and then they get afraid to speak their opinion because they don't want to go against the norm. So everybody's always looking for that. What's it? Well, hold on here. I'm going to sit on the fence. What side of the fence am I going to jump on at this point in time? We're talking, we've got to build character. We're talking basics here. We need backbones with people anymore. We need to start building character, start rebuild the work ethic that created this country, and be able to have basic common sense discussions on some very complex issues that are going to destroy us. Like mutilating kids, you're right. I mean, on the whole base value of it, we're not going to increase the population of our country. It's going to decrease over time.
And that brings me back to my original point that the U.S. has a presidential election coming up. And in 2024, all the shit that we just talked about is a hot button issue. Not one of it's simple. Not one of it has a clear-cut defined answer.
Right.
And unlike things like budget or whatever, it has a direct effect on our culture, on American culture, which we never say. Every country has a culture, right? When I see that people are mad because how white England is, it's like, well, that's where white people come from. So yeah, I would imagine it's pretty white there. Nobody ever goes to China and goes, what the fuck's going on with all these Chinese dudes?
Right.
It's China. That's where they come from.
Yeah.
But all these things that we're talking about are cultural and also scary because Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Gaza, Palestine, Iran,
China.
This is all World War III type shit.
Oh, yeah.
And who was it? Albert Einstein or somebody who said World War I was fought in a trench. World War II was fought with bombs and the whole shebang. World War III will be fought with nukes. World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones.
It was Einstein.
Okay. So these are hot button issues. These are all crazy things, right? None of it is simple. None of it is not important. It's all really important shit.
Yeah.
So in 2024, who's going to be our two candidates as of right now if we're looking forward?
Good question.
You got a guy who, in my opinion, has full-blown dementia and is kind of being helped along with medical science and the right people in charge of media that kind of makes him look better than he is because let's be honest.
Not kind of, they do.
They do. I'm trying to be in the middle.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking obvious. And then you got a guy who can only do 4 more years that is kind of bombastic and has a really hard time playing to the other side. And if you want to be president of the United States, you got to at least get the other half somewhat on your side and not ostracize the ever living fuck out of them.
Yeah.
Are these the two guys that you think are going to get us out of this crisis?
That's a very good question. I have no idea because here's my observation of the election coming up. In the past 20 years, we always knew when there was an election cycle, and usually, like, we'd have the one presidential election, and 2 months later, they're starting to campaign towards the next one that's going to be in 4 years. How much campaigning have you really heard about this past year?
Now,
Like, no, it's just starting right now. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And with that being said, which candidate has said half of what you have said that makes total sense about how, hey, we got to figure it out. We got to have discussions. We got to do this. We got to do that. No, they're like, don't let this guy in. He's going to fuck it up. Oh, no, don't let that guy in. He's going to fuck it up. I have the answers. I'll figure it out. What's your plan? The opposite of what that guy says.
Right. That's a good
That's
question.
why I
Man.
say tank 2024. You're going to do worse.
Well, you could do worse. The whole thing is, brother, and what we're really talking about is a candidate or somebody to lead us that isn't worried about the repercussions of their actions. Because if you act forthright, if you act with the best intentions in mind, and it doesn't matter what you do, you're always going to have naysayers, right? So you need to have somebody that has to have strength of character to not cave in to the influence of the virtue signaling. That's going to be able to stick to their convictions. Bikers, for the most part, are men that stick by their convictions. They mean what they say say what they mean, they lead. They a lot of them, they don't waver on their opinions. They have their opinion and they allow you yours.
And we have kind of a different perspective because we're in a club.
Yeah.
So you would agree with me when I would say that intent has a smell. We see guys that have agendas.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have a certain intent when they do things. Sometimes you're like, some don't smell right. Kind of seems like you're not as forthcoming as you're letting on to believe.
Right.
There's an intent there. You're trying to do something, whether it's to benefit you or your cause or your whatever, you're doing something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we've known you up till this point. You've saved it up till now, and now you're changing. This is what you're doing? No. You've got an agenda going on.
Right.
Yeah. We've
Like
the
say,
smell. It's definitely the smell test. We can smell a fucking turd in every pocket, man.
And to wrap this up, like, not to name names, but there's YouTube channels. Other people in the same realm that we're in. Not saying that we're better. They're obviously better because they have more views. So
sure,
based off the data, they're obviously better. However, we watch them too. And we can kind of see when they say one thing one episode, but yet they're promoting something else the next. Like, MC should be more tight knit. Don't put your shit on the internet. Don't put club business out there. But then the next instance, they're putting club shit out there and they're talking about it and they're throwing it in your face and they're saying, hey, look at this, but they shouldn't be doing that. But look at this, though. And I'm going to talk about it for a week.
Yeah.
What's their intent? Their intent is eyeballs. They're rising themselves up. They're taking advantage of a situation. Is that helping anybody? I don't know. It's helping them to a certain extent, obviously. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
You know where you see the most base example of this would be on, like, let's just bring up TikTok, for example. Like, you get those people that will go on live and they'll the most polarizing, controversial subject out there. And they go on live and they take the opposite viewpoint that they know everybody else is going to chime in on. And then they just, and then just feed it. They'll just feed the people and feed the people. Oh, you said that? Oh, that's a bunch of bullshit. You don't know what you're talking about. And the people are just like all over. You're getting clicks. You're getting everybody involved and interactive. And they're just laughing because they're making money off it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant when you think about it. It really is.
I mean, anybody who's still listening, go on any other biker type content on any social media. I don't care. Pick one. YouTube, Spotify, you name it. Go right ahead. They're talking about other clubs. They're talking about other issues that the other one is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Some might say this whole podcast had nothing to do with being a biker. I disagree.
I disagree too.
Because let's be honest, we're living in the same goddamn country, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you ride from Wisconsin to Florida, you got to go through Illinois. You got to go through Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, right? And all these different states have all these different problems.
Mm-hmm.
Laws change, right? You can have a concealed carry permit in Wisconsin and legally carry a pistol. You cross that border, you can't carry it anymore.
That's right.
You can't even have it on you. But then you cross another border and then anybody can have it.
Yeah, and then I crossed another border, I could have put a helmet on,
Right.
Yeah.
So we all are trying to live within the certain rules of society so we don't get too fucked with by the goddamn cops.
We're trying to fly low under the radar, man. That's all.
That's all we're doing.
That's all we're doing. Yep. At the end of the day, yeah, just want to be left alone. I just want to be left alone.
Some might say we're just trying to ride our machines.
We just want to be free to ride our machines. We
Have
ought
a
to go
good
back to that
time.
old. We should have a good time. We ought to go back to that old intro. Maybe I'll
Take it
dust
for
it
this
off.
one.
Maybe I'll dust it out for this one. Yeah.
Dust it off.
We get a lot of people that request that actually.
Fuck it, make it happen.
Yeah, what the hell, and I'll put a little commercial in our pee break thing too,
Mm-hmm.
Either way, I mean, what we're really talking about is like, bikers, and we say bikers, we're not the only ones. There are a lot of groups of men in this country that have strength of character, very much so.
Bullshit.
But it's far and few between.
Look at the first go around for Trump. There was bikers for Trump. They had whole rallies for Trump.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bikers were all about it.
Yeah.
And now you want to talk about our way of life? Well, I mean, we already had that pretty boy fuck that we did podcasts with back in the day, who brought up the fact that they had a trans man join a motorcycle club.
Oh yeah. Oh, we've done so many of these. My God, I remember that. Yeah, there was what were they, the gentleman riders or something shit like that, or
the wannabe dudes? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, then I looked into it and I was like, holy crap! There's a whole storied history of gay motorcycle clubs in this country, and lesbian, the Satyrs. That's one of the big ones with the lesbians. I mean,
Dykes on bikes.
Yeah, Dykes on bikes. Yeah. And you know what? Hey, if they want to do that, that's cool. I mean, for the most part, bikers just want to be left the fuck alone.
Right. But this shit doesn't progress if there isn't men that are willing to stand up for at least somewhat of a moral code.
And we've got to be able to teach that to youth.
It doesn't say I am my brother's keeper on my vest for nothing. And it sure isn't going to say I am my they them's keeper.
Right? I don't know, man. You know me, and I believe in strength of character. You met my father. You know how I was raised. He was a tough man. I had a lot of shit beat into my head. And what was so wrong with that?
Well, that brings us down to the family unit. And I don't want to get into it too much, but I think America needs to get back. and I say America because I don't give a fuck about the rest of the world, but women are the nurturers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's in their nature.
Yep.
Okay. They can deny it. I don't care what feminist group or whatever is listening to this, whoever you think you are, women are nurturers. They care, right? That's why they choose most of the career fields that they do. Teachers, social workers, you name it. It's all people driven. Men are driven by discipline and results and matter of fact, right? That's why a lot of men go into the STEM field, engineering, right? Go to any major city. I don't give a fuck. Pick one, right? Women didn't make them skyscrapers.
No.
Women didn't fucking lay the bricks of that old timey fucking building that you want to put a fucking vintage antique shop in.
Right.
I guarantee you some beer bellied fucking guy who drank way too much did that. That's what we do.
Well,
We
men are.
create society. Women take care of it.
We understand it's pretty fundamental. Men are men, women are women. When done right, when you have a good partner, and I mean that when you got a good woman that's with you, you two now
Right.
create a whole. You know, that's why it's the yin and the yang, the dichotomy. I mean, men are men, women are women, and together we create a whole entity. If you think about it,
Right. There is no patriarchy. There is no monarchy.
No, because one can't exist without the other.
Right. It's the whole yin and yang theory.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
to make it more relatable, to say the person that may be watching this that's not watching it, but let's pretend that they are
sure.
driving a semi truck or whatever. Right. If I'm in a bar fight, okay, if I'm in a situation where it's dangerous or my life is threatened or physical violence is the, choice of action at time, the last person I want next to me is my girlfriend or my wife or a female at all. I want a big, strong brother next to me.
Yeah.
Because we're going to war. We're now fighting, right? This has been this way for decades.
Well, men tend to be more
centuries,
more
for
deliberate.
eternities.
We're much more deliberate in our actions.
We are capable of violence.
Yes.
To an extent that a female may not understand you. Of course, you got outliers. I get it. UFC, I get it. Right?
Yeah.
Sure. Fighter. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Give me the baddest bitch on planet Earth, right? Who's a UFC champion or boxing champion or whatever, right? Give me the average fucking dude on a Harley. I'm going to take him. That's just the reality of the situation. Sorry, it's genetics.
Well, okay. Yeah, you see somebody's a patch holder, at least you can make some assumptions about his character.
Right. They went through, that's why we protect the whole club thing at all. That's why we don't like pop-up clubs. That's why we don't like clubs that just throw a patch on, hey, we're a thing.
Exactly.
Are you?
Are you?
But are you? Because if I talk to a guy that's more of a traditional member of a traditional motorcycle club, I understand what he went through to get where he's at. So now we have at least that to relate to one another.
Mm-hmm.
As to where if it's some guy that's like, yeah, we're the Satan's toilet paper, and yeah, we just formed because it's free country and fuck you, and we allow women in our clubs and it's fine, no big deal.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is fill out a form, and your probationary period is 5 to 6 business days.
Or go on a ride with us.
Right. 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times, yeah.
If we get back to recognizing that that is kind of the way nature works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a point of at least normalcy. We can say, okay, if a woman's job in a family setting is to nurture and care for and to guard the future generation, And the male's responsibility is to teach discipline and structure and values as far as
strength of character.
yeah, and
Make
it
him a
doesn't
man.
just go, yeah, even if you have a daughter, you have to do this. Because
Yes.
if you don't do that, then she's gonna find one of these woke pieces of shit,
Mhm.
you know, and they're gonna end up like, oh no, 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 you're the woman, you're better than I am, so you provide for me. I'll stay at home and cook dinner. Or he's gonna smack her around because he doesn't believe that men can't hit women because women are equal to him.
Mm.
So why can't I beat them up? They're just as strong as me. TikTok told me so.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole other podcast to talk about right there, brother.
Well, I wish Trent was here right now to set us all straight.
Love to see him. Love to check in and see how old Trenty's doing.
Well, maybe this summer we'll have to get a hold of Trent and see where his
Yeah.
views are these days.
Yeah. Yeah, Trent. Anyway, let's wrap this up at this point in
Yep.
time, man. Oh, wow. And we know for years we said we wouldn't do this. And we just
Do
did
what?
what we talk about some of the shit that we just talked about.
Well, it had to be said.
It had to be said because we're proving a point.
Yeah.
We're proving a point.
And if anybody out there wants to debate it, feel free, man. I'll fucking go back and forth with anybody.
Yeah, just send us a message through the messenger thing, and we nearly everybody that has contacted us through there to come on the show has gone on the show.
And not to, I mean, once upon a time, I was once on a podcast wearing a ski mask with an AK slung across my shoulder. So,
Oh man, I remember I was on that same podcast with you. I laughed and laughed and laughed.
and then I was a voice of reason on the whole goddamn thing.
Oh my god, we did have some fun back then, didn't we?
We did. Fuck, man, we ruined their whole goddamn day.
I know, that was so much fun. Oh well, I mean that's how we got our reputation amongst our seven or 12 or 2 or 3 listeners.
You guys are real dudes. Yeah, why the fuck? Of course we are.
Exactly. We are not polished by any stretch of the imagination.
The only merch we have is stickers that say "I hate the Bikers Lifestyle Podcast."
Isn't that a beautiful thing? It's a beautiful thing. I'm going to get more made. Maybe we'll get coffee cups made. No. That's not our style. No. Shot glasses.
Shot glasses and like
beer mugs.
Do guys still use bongs?
I don't know. It's a good question. If we have to find out. Do they use? I think they do. And everybody.
I don't know. We used to use bongs because we'd suck back in the day.
Yeah, you wanted to get the most out of it, but now shit. My God, they use the vape thing, and then you stand in the corner for 12 hours trying to contemplate your existence.
Or you do a dab and end up in another fucking atmosphere or another fucking universe.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, weed's come a long way. Ooh, left me behind. That's for damn way too far. I agree. I'm a big fan of the CBD weed myself, man. I have been keeping my pain down to a dull norm. CBD
I'm microdosing whiskey.
Oh, there you go. CBD weed, plain Jane, works out pretty good, man. Legal, completely legal. It's legal.
Totally legal. All legal. It's 100% not legal.
I got a QR code that can send them to the website and it shows them what's in that,
Oh,
it gives all the tests. So it must be work. I saw on the internet. It must be true.
I guarantee you they're not making it the same place they're making aspirin, though.
Well, if anybody's made it up until this point in time, hopefully we've made an argument. Hopefully not. Hey, I don't know. Fucking fight us in the comments.
Yep.
And remember this, the most dangerous part of your motorcycle is the nut that connects the seat to the handlebars. Peace.
And careful what you wish for when you said we should do more shit.
Oh, but